Hello student, welcome to Anu's classes. Let's start today's video with one of the important topic, that is Krebs cycle, citric acid cycle or tricarboxylic acid cycle. So first come why this cycle is called Krebs cycle. This Krebs name is given according to the name of the scientist. Second name is given citric acid cycle. Why it is called citric acid? Since in this cycle the first product is citric acid, that's why it is called citric acid cycle. And third name is given tricarboxylic acid cycle. The citric acid has three carboxylic group. Tri means three, carboxylic acid means COOH group. So since citric acid has three COOH means carboxylic group, that's why the another name of this cycle is tricarboxylic acid cycle. So this cycle has three names. One is Krebs cycle, second one is citric acid cycle, and third one is tricarboxylic acid cycle. So first come to the definition of this Krebs cycle. So this cycle is the sequence of reactions by which most living cells generate energy during the process of aerobic respiration. We know that by the process of aerobic respiration, most of the living cells mainly generate their energy. And within the aerobic respiration, this energy is mainly generated by this citric acid cycle, means it is an essential part of the aerobic respiration. Now come to the location of this cycle. In eukaryotes, this cycle takes place in mitochondria, whereas in prokaryotes, this cycle takes place in cytoplasm. And this cycle has eight major steps or eight major reactions. Now come to the cycle. In the aerobic respiration, first in the cytoplasm, the glycolysis process takes place. Glycolysis, which is the first step of aerobic respiration, glycolysis process takes place. In this process, from the glucose molecule, means C6H12O6 molecule, pyruvate is formed. Means at the end of the glycolysis from glucose molecule, ultimately the final product pyruvate is formed, which is a 3-carbon compound. After the pyruvate is formed, it is enter into the mitochondria, because this glycolysis process takes place in cytoplasm. So after the pyruvate is formed from glucose, it is enter into the mitochondria, means into the mitochondrial matrix where the citric acid cycle takes place. So in the mitochondria, the pyruvate first undergo oxidative decarboxylation process, and from 3-carbon compound, it is converted into a 2-carbon compound, acetyl coenzyme A. Oxidative decarboxylation. So decarboxylation means removal of carbon. So pyruvate is a 3-carbon compound, and in decarboxylation process, it removed 1 carbon in the form of carbon dioxide, and as a result, from 3-carbon compound, it will convert it into a 2-carbon compound. This is 2-carbon compound, acetyl coenzyme A. Of this acetyl coenzyme A, this coenzyme A part is amino acid, whereas the acetyl part is fatty acid. So question may come from these 2 points. So remember these 2 points. In the next step, this acetyl coenzyme A joined with a 4-carbon compound, that is oxaloacetate, and as a result, this 4 plus this 2 total, it will convert it into a 6-carbon compound, which is known as citrate or citric acid. And this is the first step of this cycle. So what is the first step of this citric acid cycle? Means when oxaloacetate and acetyl coenzyme A combine, it will convert it into citrate or citric acid, and that is the first step of citric acid cycle. Then come to the next second step. In the second step, this citrate is converted into isocitrate, which is the isomer of citrate. Isomer means what? Isomer means same formula but different structure. Since formula is same, so in isocitrate also has 6 number of carbon compound. Now this is the second step of this cycle. Now come to the third step of the cycle. In the third step, the isocitrate is oxidized and a carbon is released in the form of carbon dioxide molecule, and as a result, this 6 carbon molecule is converted into a 5 carbon molecule alpha ketoglutarate or alpha ketogluteric acid. In this step, a NADH is also produced. Now comes the fourth step of this cycle. This is the fourth step. This step is similar with the third step. As in the third step also, this 6 carbon compound is oxidized. In the fourth step, this 5 carbon compound is oxidized and a carbon molecule is released in the form of carbon dioxide, and at the same time, NADH also produced. And as a result, this 5 carbon compound is converted into a 4 carbon compound that is called succinyl coenzyme A. Now come to the fifth step of the cycle. So this is the fifth step of the cycle. In the fifth stage, the coenzyme A of succinyl coenzyme, this coenzyme A is replaced by a phosphate compound or phosphate group, which is then transferred to ADP and which is used to make ATP. It means in the fifth step, one ATP molecule is produced, and this succinyl coenzyme A, which is a 4 carbon compound, is converted into another 4 carbon compound, that is succinate. So now come to the next step. In the next step, this succinate is oxidized, forming another 4 carbon compound, fumarate. And in this process, a molecule of FADH2 is produced. Now come to the seventh step of the cycle. In the seventh step of the cycle, the fumarate is converted into another 4 carbon compound, malate, and in this step, water molecule is used or water molecule is added, and this 4 carbon compound fumarate is converted into another 4 carbon compound, that is malate. And in the final step or last step of this cycle, this oxaloacetate, which is the initial 4 carbon compound, it is again regenerated from the malate, and in this process another NADH is produced. So these are the 8 steps of citric acid cycle. So to remember this cycle, you have to remember this 8 key product first. First one is oxaloacetic acid, second one is citrate, third one is isocitrate, fourth one is alpha ketoglutarate, then succinyl coenzyme A, then succinate, then fumarate, and then malate. Or this is the tricks. Thus one sentence is given as trick. Suppose for oxaloacetic acid, you remember O, citrate, you can remember can, then I, then keep, then studying, then science, then for, then math school. It means if you remember the line, suppose, oh, can I keep studying science for math school? Here O indicate oxalo. So this is the trick. You can remember like this or that like also as you wish. So these are the all 8 steps of citric acid cycle. And as a result, in a single acid, give rise to 2 carbon compound. These are the 2 carbon compound is produced. These 3 NADH molecule is produced. This 3 NADH molecule is produced, and 1 FADH2 molecule is produced in this cycle. So this is a complete turn of citric acid cycle. Thank you.